Well, obviously, like, people respect people with zeros at the end of their checks. Like, let's just be honest. Like, there's respect element of things when you walk into a room if you have zeros behind your check. And so I feel like in order for the WNBA to be reputable and to be respected, you have to have zeros behind your check. And with that being said, number of zeros behind your check. And that has crossed WNBA off the list for a number of years just because.
That right, there's Candace Parker, one of the greatest players in WNBA history, echoing an argument that has been repeated by thousands of athletes during CBA negotiations. People respect money, and more zeros at the end of a paycheck supposedly mean more respect. On the surface, it sounds reasonable and even logical. But the problem is that argument completely falls apart when you actually look at the numbers. And it's definitely not the case you want to be making when you're sitting across the table from team owners trying to negotiate a new collective bargaining agreement.
Telling me you can't pay players over $1 million, but you're giving coaches. I've never heard of a league where the coach is paid more than the best player. I have never, and please correct me if I'm wrong.
I don't know.
The best player on the team is going to make more than the head coach.
Yes.
So with all of these owners that are saying, or the WNBA in general that's saying we can't play players that, then how are you finding this for coaches?
Now that's a much stronger point. How is it that coaches are making more than the best players on the team? It feels wrong at first glance, but the context changes everything. The WNBA coaches earning over $1 million right now are Becky Hammon and Nate Tibbetts. Hammon spent 8 years as an assistant under Greg Popovich with the San Antonio Spurs, arguably the greatest NBA coach in history, while Tibbetts was an assistant with 3 different NBA teams before coming to the WNBA. To attract premier coaching talent from the NBA, the league has to offer premier pay, and it worked. Hammon won a championship in her second season, and Tibbetts took his team to the finals in his first year. The investment paid off immediately. But Candace Parker is absolutely right. Under the new WNBA CBA proposal, the maximum player salary jumps to over $1 million. The minimum salary rises to what the previous maximum was, around $220,000, and the average salary will be $500,000. With this, the top players will now be making as much as those elite coaches. The gap is finally closing.
Then male counterparts, and women have more sometimes at times with more followers. And you look at Paige Becker's, her followers in college were way more than Jalen Suggs that got drafted. And so it's just one of those things where it's impacting from top to bottom. And I'm just grateful for social media because I think numbers don't lie.
Transparency.
And there's transparency, and you see with NIL how much somebody is worth.
This is where the argument really starts to fall apart. Social media followers don't directly translate to viewership or attendance. Take Angel Reese, for example. She has more followers than Caitlin Clark, but the numbers tell a different story. Indiana Fever games averaged 1.118 million viewers per game last season, while Chicago Sky games averaged just 575,000, less than half. The Fever sold out every arena they played in, while the Sky had empty seats in multiple games. For team owners, Instagram followers don't drive revenue. Ticket sales and TV viewership do. That's what generates the money that pays salaries. Social media popularity also doesn't reflect performance on the court. Sports remain one of the few industries where merit outweighs influence. You can have 10 million followers, but if you're shooting 30% from the field and your team is losing, you're not getting a max contract. Ultimately, the product on the court is what truly matters.
In front of people that,
Spoke English?
Yeah, spoke English and all those things. Made my marketing endorsements, Adidas and Gatorade and, that type of thing. But it was overseas where, I take care of my family, and I mean, the Rolexes, the black diamonds as gifts from our owners over there, Russian owners, chefs, drivers, beautiful apartments. We flew charter. We were treated like professional athletes over there. And with that being said, it was still overseas. I mean, I was still playing in Ekaterinburg, Russia. My daughter's first school was in Russia. She spoke Russian. And I'm grateful for the experience. And honestly, if I had it to do over again, those are the options. Do I wish I could have stayed stateside? Do I wish I could have had an off season to work on stuff? Yes, but
Let's talk about the Russia situation, because it's key to understanding how the WNBA got to where it is today. Diana Taurasi, arguably the greatest WNBA player of all time, took an entire season off in the league to play exclusively in Russia. She was paid $1 million, not just to play for their team, but specifically to skip the WNBA season. And what happened? Nothing. Viewership didn't drop. Attendance stayed steady, and the WNBA didn't panic or suddenly offer her more money to stay. The league just kept moving forward. This illustrates how the WNBA has operated for 29 years. There's been a mindset that the league doesn't need drastic changes to survive. Players have gone overseas during the off-season since the very beginning. It's built into the league structure. The WNBA season runs from May to September, or maybe October if a team makes the finals, leaving 7 months of the year for players to earn money elsewhere. Many finish the WNBA playoffs, fly directly to another country to play a full overseas season, and return just in time for WNBA training camp. Some players even start the WNBA season late because they're still completing their overseas commitments.
There's a couple things to break down here. Let's first talk about the salaries and her saying that the women just need to wait. So I actually looked up what the average salary was in 1975, which was the 30th season in the NBA. So as you guys know, the NBA is like in its 80 something season. The WNBA will be going into their 30th season, seeing as if the 30th season happens and they figure out the CBA. So in 1975 in the NBA, the estimated average player salary was around $50,000. This figure would be roughly $270,000 in today's money when adjusted for inflation.
Here's what I keep coming back to. The WNBA was never built to be the premier league. If the goal is to make it the premier destination for women's basketball, simply throwing more money at players won't fix everything. The entire structure of the league needs to change. The season needs to be longer. Right now, you have to make it to finals just to reach 6 months of basketball. Ideally, the season should run from May through December at minimum, giving 8 months of play. That would eliminate the option for players to spend the majority of the year overseas, making the WNBA the true priority rather than a summer job. Look at the NBA. The top players aren't even American. Giannis Antetokounmpo is Greek. Nikola Jokic is Serbian. Luka Doncic is Slovenian. They could play in their home countries, but they don't, because the NBA is a premier league. It offers the best pay, the highest level of competition, and the ultimate stage to be considered the best in the world. The WNBA needs to reach that level, and that won't happen just by increasing salaries. It requires building a league structure that commands respect and demands to be taken seriously.
You guys know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think that that's the best argument to make. I think the thought process should be, we should be getting paid more. The players should be getting paid more because the product on the court is exceptional, because the viewership is up, because attendance is up. Like, those are the things that they should be focusing on, not like, oh, if we get paid more, then we will be respected more, because I don't think the two correlate. I truly don't. And I do think that there's...
Let's revisit the respect argument, because it needs to be addressed directly. Candace Parker says, if players made more money, people respect them more. But that's not really how respect works. Respect comes from the product on the court, consistent, high-level basketball, players who show up every night and compete, and a league that operates professionally, from referees to media coverage to how controversies are handled. You don't get paid more simply to be respected. You earn it because the numbers support it, because the revenue exists to justify it. And the WNBA has made enormous strides in the past 2 years. Viewership is up, attendance is up, sponsorship deals are bigger, and the Caitlin Clark effect is real. In 2024, the league averaged 1.119 million viewers across all broadcasts, up 175% from previous finals, marking the most watched finals since 2003. That's the argument you make in CBA negotiations. Not pay us more so people respect us, but pay us more because we're generating unprecedented revenue. The WNBA is at a crossroads. After its most successful season in history, fueled in large part by Caitlin Clark bringing in casual fans, the league shattered viewership and attendance records across the board. But is this growth sustainable, or is it a bubble? To ensure long-term success, fundamental structural changes are needed. The season must be longer, at least 8 months, from April through November, so the WNBA becomes a primary focus rather than a summer job. Players need exclusivity, treating the league as their main commitment. The playoff format should change, with finals as a best-of-7 series to match major sports leagues. Officiating must improve, as inconsistent calls and unfair targeting of star players undermine the league's credibility. Media coverage also needs to mature. Focusing on drama and player conflicts may generate clicks, but it doesn't build long-term respect. Looking at the numbers, the current CBA proposal is a massive step forward. An average salary of $500,000, a maximum over $1 million, and a minimum around $220,000. For context, NBA players in the 30th season of their league, 1975, averaged $50,000, roughly $270,000. Accept the deal, prove that growth is sustainable, and return in 3 years with even more leverage to push for 50% revenue sharing. That's how you build a premier league, not by holding out now and risking it all. The decision the players make will define the next decade of the WNBA. Should they accept the current proposal or hold out for 50% revenue sharing? Risking a lockout? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And for deeper WNBA business coverage as CBA negotiations continue, hit that subscribe button